So in the last video, you saw how to do double trig word problems with separating your two triangles and using SOHCAHTOA twice. So today I'm going to teach you a different method called law of sines. So again, this is for solving triangles, two right triangles to be specific, and solving for a missing side in there. So law of sines says this. A over sine A equals B over sine B. Now, your top are your side lengths. So A is a side length, and so is B. Sine A and sine B, well, A and B are both angles. For the law of sines, you actually do not need a right triangle. So we can solve any triangle that's not a right triangle by using law of sines. So law of sines is A over sine A equals B over sine B. So the top is just some side lengths, and then the bottom is using your angles and the function sine. So I come back up here. Like I said, law of sines does not need a right triangle. So we're going to use this triangle here, and we're going to use my other triangle. So the only triangle we're not using is the big triangle. Yesterday you saw that we used this yellow triangle and then we used the big triangle that was a right triangle too. You solved it by using two trig functions, and then what you did is you subtracted. So we did that z minus y, it gave you x. Today we're not going to do that. So today we're strictly going to use law of sines just to solve for your measure of x. So yes, I know this is not perfect, but you get the idea. So I'm going to use my yellow triangle and my pink triangle. So because x is in the pink triangle, I'm going to use my yellow triangle first because it is the only side length, or the only triangle with the side length of 115. So law of sines, you have to know the angles, okay? So in my yellow triangle, I know that this is 90 degrees. This is 56. So in order to figure out this top angle, what we do is we do 180 minus 90 minus 56. So this top angle right here is 34. Now, you want to solve for the side that's common between your yellow triangle and your pink triangle. So the side they share is this one. I'm going to put a y here. Now the rule is you can only use the angle and the sides that are across from each other. So if I look, 56 is across from 115, so I'm going to use that. 34 is across from, well, there's no length there, so I really can't use that, but I can use 90 with law of sines, so 90 is across from y. So law of sines states that you pick the side and then you do it over the angle. So if I look at the side 115, well, we just saw that it's directly across from the angle measure of 56. So that's how I get the proportion of 115 over sine 56. Then my other side is y. So I take y, across from y was my angle 90. So I can do sine 90. So now I have a fraction equal to a fraction, which means I am going to have to cross multiply. So when I cross multiply, I get y sine 56 equals 115 sine 90. So if I want y alone, I have to divide by sine 56 here. So I divide by sine 56. So in my calculator, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put parentheses around 115 sine 90. And then I'm going to hit my divide button and then put parentheses around sine 56. So remember to have your calculator in degree mode, since we're talking about a triangle and we measure a triangle in degrees. Again, to do that, you would just hit second or just mode and then go down to the third option that says radian and degrees. So in your calculator, when you do that, you're going to get 138.7150641. So here, don't round, I would just write out the whole thing. So that means that y is equal to 136 or 138.7 and then so on. So I'm going to put that right here. So y is this line. Now what I need to do is I need to figure out x. So again, I'm going to have to use law of sines. This time though, I'm going to focus on my pink triangle. So in my pink triangle, I only notice that it only has a degree measure of 35. Well, if you notice though, 56 and that angle are on a straight line, which means they're supplementary. So they must add up to 180. So I do 180 minus 56. This angle is going to be 124. Now to figure out this last angle up here, a triangle adds up to 180. So I do 180 minus 124 minus 35, and this top angle is 21. So now I'm just going to use my pink triangle, and I'm going to look at the sides and see what's across from them. So if I start with y, here's y. I'm going to put my y here, and let's make the fraction. So that's the side y over, now it's always sine, and then we have to figure out what angle measure is across from it. So if I'm looking at y, across from y would give me 35 degrees. So this is going to be sine 35. Now the only other side length that you need to figure out is x right here. So I'm going to set it equal to x over, now figure out what's across from this side. If I look, it's this angle up here. So it's going to be sine 21. So that's how I get my second proportion. Again, I have a fraction equal to a fraction, so I cross multiply here. I have x sine 35 equals, then you have this whole 138.7150641 sine 21. Again, we need x alone, so I'm going to divide by 35, or sine 35, excuse me, on both sides. So in my calculator, this is what I'm typing in. Make sure you have parentheses around your top and your bottom. So it's going to be 138.7150641 and then sine 21 divided by sine 35. And my answer would then be 86.66854,135. So I don't think it says round, so that would be my answer. So now you've seen two ways to solve these types of triangles. So right now I want you to try solving these triangles using law of sine. After you do the second page, you get to choose. So once it starts here, I would choose what one you like better. Do you like yesterday's lesson or using law of sines? Either way, you're going to get the same answer.